The allegory of the cave is a hypothesis set forward by Plato concerning human observation. Plato guaranteed that information increased through the senses is close to conclusion, and that with a specific end goal to have a genuine learning. We should pick up we should pick it up through philosophical thinking. In the passage, he talks about the cave, which these prisoners have been here since birth and have never seen outside of the cave. He also mentions about the shadows and the game, which Plato suggests that the prisoners will begin a game of guessing which shadow will appear next. He talks about the escape, which one of the prisoners then escapes from their bindings and leaves the caves. And finally, he talks about the return, where all the prisoners returns to the cave and to inform the other prisoners to his findings.
After reading Allegory of the Cave, I've personally come to realize that you need to think outside of the box in order to live a better, more successful life. In this story, Plato talks about how these people in the cave are trapped and locked, mentally and physically. They are locked on chains and they can only see their own shadows. Unfortunately for them, they cannot move or think properly, forcing them to have a narrow-minded view on life. This definitely has to do with perception and illusion taking over what the truth really is. We see this often today, as many people think their words and views are correct, mainly because they have tricked their mind. Many people force themselves and think they are right when it isn't really true. Overall, we have to take Plato's words very seriously by continuing to think deeper, have an open mind, and expand our imagination.
Like Thomas said, we need to think deeper. In Plato's Allegory of the Cave, he uses the word cave to describe how people might be imprisoned or feel imprisoned. Even in our society, we are faced by these types of caves, one being the prison of the mind. This reminds me of a quote by Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Men are not prisoners of fate, but only prisoners of their own mind. We are constantly comparing, judging, and evaluating everything that comes through our senses with something that took place seconds, days, or even years ago. But the point is, the present is a moment, and we must have a complete mind, body, and spirit present, not a half-hearted present like the way we sit on the couch, play video games, and eat, because now is where the reality is. The present moment is the only thing we have. The past is gone, and it will never come back. When you put all your attention on the moment, and your full awareness connects you to the flow of life, living becomes effortless. You will begin to respond to each moment without worries, because at this moment, there aren't 100 things you need to do. There's only one, and it's the moment. Because every decision you make will determine if you think about it and put yourself back into the prison of mind in years to come.
Mind shackles. When we think about mind shackles, what comes to mind? Drugs, alcohol, laziness, and stupidity. Drugs and alcohol impair the brain and at the same time kill brain cells. Why? Because they cut off oxygen to the brain. Laziness is when one doesn't want to do something or doesn't have the inspiration. Stupidity is when one knows right from wrong, what not to do, and does it regardless. All of these are limitations and shackles on the brain. They prevent an individual from achieving their full potential and holds them back from doing what they can do.
In review of how we live, the truth is not evident to a large portion of us. Nonetheless, we mistake what we see and hear for reality and truth. This is the essential introduced for Plato's Allegory of the Cave, in which prisoners sit in a cave chained down, watching pictures cast on the wall in front of them. This is a troublesome and difficult battle. At the point when people step into the daylight, their eyes gradually suit to the light and their essential perspective of the world, of the truth, is changed. They come to see a more profound, more certified, real reality, a reality marked.